most of the complication, the medical complications has been covered earlier on. So we'll touch on the one which bothers the patients most, and as a surgeon that bothers most. So with a tubular or endoscopy, whatever it is, the things that bothers us is post-operative radiculitis, dysesthesia, or a motor deficit because of iatrogenic neural insult, could be direct because of the handling of the instruments, or indirect because of post-op hematoma, and then durotomy. In an instrumented case, it is misplacement of the screws. And so these were the three, both in tubular endoscopy. If you look at it, the largest systematic review of the 125 studies, the complications are the same: nerve injury, dural tear, or misplacement. And the other one is the incomplete decompression or a residual disc. So these are the complications that bothers patients and us most. So there are risk factors for them. The patient factors, surgeon factors, and institutional or implant related factors. When it comes to patient factors, there are certain modifiable factors, certain non-modifiable factors. The non-modifiable factors are your comorbidities to minimize your perioperative complications, and smoking for pulmonary, avoiding pulmonary complication, and pseudoarthrosis risk that has been touched on in the previous session. Age, we are seeing more and more elderly population as the longevity is increasing. So optimizing them is one of the key things to minimize the risk, because they are going to have multiple comorbidities. And knowing their bone physiology to avoid any failure of instrumentation is essential. Body habitus is something we cannot modify, and because patient with the pain, it's difficult to say and go get reduced weight and come back. So we have to deal with it. So when you're choosing your initial cases, you have to avoid choosing morbidly obese. Choose simple lean patients and then progress for the size of the patients. Surgeon factors is definitely under our control, and for anything, whether it is open or MIS, your selection, patient selection is very important. Right patient, right indication, and the right technique. For that technique, you have to be sure that you have enough experience and training, and you have the proficient skills. And decision making. Decision making is not about what surgery I'm going to do, what technique I'm going to use. It's also about intraoperative decision making. If you have any difficulty, you're doing a tubular disc or decompression, contralateral side or ipsilateral side, if you have any problem with the dural tear and you're not able to address it, you don't hesitate to go to put a tube on the other side and deal with the other side issue, or convert it to an open so that you get maximum better outcome at that time. Intraop is the place where we can correct anything and make the outcome better. And effective communication to the entire team, especially when you're doing with the MIS or working in a different places, then effective communication with your theatre team, support team is very important for the smooth flow and minimize any errors or complication. And adherence to protocols, meticulous technique, every procedure you have a system, and this is what I'm going to do, this is what the steps going to be. So everybody is fluent, and sticking to that can minimize the errors and complications. We've evolved from MIS, tubular disc, T-lift, then O-lift, then endoscope, full, uni. So many things are evolving. As things evolve, we adapt. And even a old surgeon adapt that. And we all go through the learning phase. So we know the learning phase is there. And with targeted training and picking up the difficulties at the early phase and reflecting on it helps to have a smooth learning phase. See, learning curve, everyone goes through it. Initial 20 cases, 30 cases, depending on your, your skill, and then you master it. So to have a smooth learning curve, you should have a structured training, and you should be under, having experience under guidance of a senior surgeon, and then make use of wide level of cadaver courses. These all will give you the relevant knowledge. Understanding of three-dimensional anatomy is very important, and the aptitude with the dexterity. So most of us, MIS work with the fluoroscopy. Not every unit has got the luxury of OM or a navigation or a robot. So you need to have a good CM and good technician so that you can avoid wrong level, wrong trajectory. You need to get adequate imaging so that it helps you to guide your trajectory and angulation and everything. And as rightly pointed out, Dr. Sudhir, even with the MIS crew, even with the OM navigation, if tool in the hands of fool is a tool and it can be disastrous in a spine, you need to have the tactile sensation. Then you can pick up, oh, something is not right. The tactile sensation is very important. So when you're doing any fusion work, MI work, we have to do a good carpentry. We have to ensure the end plate preparation is fine so that we can minimize the pseudoarthrosis. So to minimize the pseudoarthrosis related with the fusions, the end plate preparation is very critical. And coming to the institutional factors, if you are in single institute, you're lucky, you're going to have, the whole armamentarium, the investment is going to come, and then you're going to have a good team. But if you're in the beginning stage where you're moving around, make sure you invest instruments, what are the instruments you needed for it, and those will help you lessen your difficulties handling neural structures or completing the procedure. So right instruments, full armamentarium is a must before any adapting any technique and aventuring. And a good trained team will help you to minimize the intra-op stress, intra-op complications and any errors. So a good training, good skill set, good armamentarium, infrastructure with a trained team is all needed, and reflect on your complications, learn from it. That will help to master and minimize your errors. Thank you.